Good morning, everyone. Good Sunday morning, January the 5th, 2025. 2025. Welcome to church on Sundays with Gary. I don't know really what I'm going to call this. That still feels a little weird. Sunday church with Gary, but it's kind of what we're doing, isn't it? This is where we come together as a group, and I would ask that you guys if you know anybody that's no longer going to church, or they're disconnected, send them this link. Okay, send them the link, ask them to join. Maybe the ex-wife, the ex-husband, the ex-boyfriend, the ex-girlfriend, the dad, the mom, the student that the kid that you have, the estranged child you have. Send people a link and say, hey, why don't you join me in church Sunday? There's this weird guy talking about manifestation and building a better life, and I don't know, kind of all things that aren't religion, that we're all, at least me, I'm seeking knowledge and information and understanding of why I'm here, what I'm doing, and how to make the biggest impact I can possibly make without becoming a freak, right? Like I see people that are doing things and like, I want to know why I'm doing it. I don't want to just be manic. I most certainly don't want to become a slave or a prostitute. I want to have purpose, right? I'm happy when I have purpose, and I'm less happy when I don't have purpose. So anyway, I would ask that you repost the space, and let's see what we can do here today. I've had a very interesting week, and that week really was born out of last week. And last week, I found the space last week that we did in church. I'm actually looking at my notes. As you guys know, I keep a lot of notes. I keep a lot of notepads and notebooks all over my house. I probably in my briefcases. I travel with too many of them. But these are all writings, notes, commentary on, for instance, when I come in here, and thank you guys for being here again. When I come in here, I bring this book so that I can make comments to myself. I'll learn. I'm actually learning so much about myself through this experience, and that's what I really wanted to talk about this morning. Because everything I was doing last week, which I thought was a bit painful for me, but I said a couple of things there last week, so I'd like to review that. Maybe we review the last 8 or 9 of these that we've done. Again, if you could retweet the space, repost it, make sure people are here. I think it's easier to watch when it's live. Maybe I'll make a big mistake. Maybe I'll mess up. Maybe I'll have some kind of epiphany and people get to watch it. But, you can watch it on a recording also. But there was a few things that came out of last week that I thought was really, really valuable for me. One was, the right thing is the right thing. They're like, everybody knows, hey, is this the right thing for me? It's a great question to ask. Is this the right thing for me? And if the answer is right, yes, it is, then it's the right thing to do. And this is my point. Leadership shows up when the leader shows up. And everybody talking about leadership, you can talk about leadership, you can talk about holding a church, or you can actually do it. And leadership is a leading. It's not about talking about leadership. As an example, the reason I bring that up is that I have matured to a point where I'm most certainly a leader in a number of different scenarios. I have skills, I have abilities, and my job maybe not your job, but everything I've ever looked for, searched for in religion was to find my purpose. Really, why do I go to church? Why do I go to um, a motivator or a teacher, a sponsor, anyone, a mentor? Why do I do that? Because I'm looking for my purpose, really. Oh, I want more money. These are not purposes. I mean, you can chase money if you want. You're going to feel very empty when you get it all. You're going to realize, wow, it's just money. It's not value. It's just money. Um, so I wrote down this thing, and it says the right thing to do is the right thing to do. Now I'm been struggling with a lot of opportunities I have. Some people will say, "Well, I don't have a lot of opportunities, and that's my problem." What about the person that has so many opportunities that is their problem? So here's one person, here one group of people that have no options or few options. They haven't tilled the ground. You haven't gone out and worked the soil. You're the soil, by the way. You haven't gone out and worked the soil, turned it over, fertilized it, watered it. You're the soil, remember. Um, and then you wonder why you don't have fertile ground to lay dreams and visions. And that's what we've been spent a lot of time last quarter 2024, the first 9 or 10 sessions here, talking about. I think we used the word motivation maybe twice. Like, I don't believe in motivation. Okay, if you have to get motivated to do something, it's probably not your purpose. It does not mean that things are easy always. I have gone through years of discontent, of discomfort, dissonance, anxiety, confusion, worry. Usually it's because I'm not clear in my mind what I'm doing, who I am, and what my purpose is. This requires a lot of discipline, okay? And I don't want anyone to walk away from this thinking, oh, well, Gary does all this perfectly. I have gone years without writing anything down on a piece of paper. Huge mistake, but I did. I went years without writing and doing everything that we're talking about doing right now. I have fallen off the path many times. And I'll just go ahead and correct myself right now. I actually don't believe there is a such thing as falling off the path. I think there is, you can most certainly go off the edge. But sometimes for me, I find myself in the ditch. I do not find myself in the middle of the fairway, taking no risk, doing what everyone else does, just easy peasy, steady greasy. That has not been my life. My life has been, get some success, expand, go into territories I don't know so much about, make some mistakes, go off into the ditch, get away from the middle of the fairway, and then I have to learn. I go over the edge. Hopefully I survive exceeding that edge point. I don't believe anyone who understands extremes and edges. In order to understand the very edge, the very extreme, I believe you have to actually exceed the edge. No one knows where the edge is until you actually exceed it. This is why I believe that most people that you and I admire for doing really great things in life, they were all willing to risk a lot. And they were willing to actually break themselves to go over the edge to determine where their breaking point was and where their ability to not only go over the edge, but to be able to come back and survive that, right? Like, if you can survive it, you're a champion. I've learned absolutely everything in the edge, on the edge, over the edge, Um, and it's interesting that I'll meet with other successful people and they have no clue what I'm talking about. No clue. They've not taken those kind of challenges. But I think if they look under the hood, they will see that most of their great experiences in life and the results they got from it, they actually, the right thing to do was the right thing they did, even if it wasn't consistent with what other people did or how they operated. A few other things that I wrote down last week. Intention is massively important. The title of this morning is Dissonance, Discomfort, Anxiety, and how to use it as a superpower. See, I see more people than not, like 99 to 1, including myself, by the way. I fight against dissonance, discomfort, and anxiety. I don't like it. I'll do anything to stay away from it. I fight it. I'll take an Advil. I'll have a drink, whatever, get me away from dissonance, discomfort, and anxiety. Now, what is dissonance? Probably should grok it so that I don't really botch it up. Guys, I would never be ashamed of looking up a word, by the way. And I am never afraid in a meeting to ask someone what a specific word means if I don't understand it. I think that it is very telling that if somebody uses a big fancy word in a meeting, what's wrong with me raising my hand going, excuse me, what does that mean exactly? I don't recognize that word and so don't be afraid to ask and explore. But I pulled this up on Grok. Dissonance generally refers to a lack of harmony or agreement between things. So when I'm not doing what I'm designed to do, I get uncomfortable. And this is why I'm saying this is a superpower, because it is in that discomfort. It is in that dissonance that I should be asking myself, hey, why am I vibrating like this? You ever get around somebody that you might be attracted to them, you might not be attracted to them, you might be doing business, whatever the scenario is. Whatever the scenario is, but you feel weird, you feel dirty around them, you feel nervous around them, you feel maybe even violated or just like very uncomfortable, that is dissonance, okay? There's some vibration going on in you, some harmonic. I mean, my senses are extremely, they're pretty extreme senses. I trust them a lot. And when I get around someone that makes a certain vibration goes off, I know, hey, look, there's dissonance that tells me stay away from these people. And then there's other dissonance, disconnection, disruption in my own beingness, a discomfort that I have to be able to differentiate between feeling some weird energy from another human being and then feeling weird energy from myself because of something I'm doing or not doing. The right thing to do is the right thing to do. Now, we're going to come back to this because it's so important, because I've had a massive discovery this week. I mean, like I couldn't actually believe. I've been saying, like, I should be paying you guys for these meetings. Like, literally, I am going to get. Greg Lunt just says, "Thank you for all you're doing." Thank you, dude. But like, quite frankly, I'm getting so much value out of this. If I tell you everything that's happened to me this week, I will literally. One, I don't even think anybody's going to believe me, and the relevance to me is probably not going to be that relevant to you, but it's massive for me. And I'm going to share it with you. Somebody asked me to share it the other night. Alex Finn, I was on a show, and I said, hey, dude, I don't normally do, I never do New Year's resolutions. But for some reason this year, and I'm quite certain it's because I'm doing these church meetings. Dude, like I have discovered stuff that's taken me decades to even ask the question. So intention, manifestation. We've been talking a lot about manifestation. I believe that I can manifest. In fact, I believe I manifest my present and my future. Good or bad, I am manifesting it. And that is why it's so important to be disciplined enough to write down a bunch of stuff, right? So the cool thing for me, this is a hack. By myself and on my own, I will become undisciplined. But when I do stuff like this, which is when I came into X, I started playing around with, can you manage a room, Gary? Can you, I saw stuff going on in Twitter and Clubhouse, and I was like, wow, you guys are like insane. This is really emotionally draining process. And I was like, well, it's just silly. It's about the leadership. It's about setting rules and guidelines as to what the philosophy, the intention of the room. See, I saw rooms that were, this is 2 years ago. I've never done social media. Okay. I've never done any of this stuff. So I don't, it's just not been my forte. And it has not been in my business's best interest that I was a social vocal figure. I've been dealing with too many large companies that don't like this. Now I'm over that now. They can do whatever they want to do, like me, not like me, advertise with me, don't advertise with me. It's probably more difficult for a company to get an advertising contract with me than it would be for me to get one with them, quite frankly, because I refuse to be owned by anyone. I refuse to be owned by anyone. I would love it if all 1,287 people joined in with me and said, I refuse to be controlled or owned by anyone. I will not become a prostitute at any cost. And I will fight to keep my freedom. Freedom is not free, but I will fight to the end to share my reality, my truth, with the intention of not harming anyone, but being honest and true to myself. And if we all were to do that, guys, like, this is game over, okay? This is game over for evil world, and it's game on for 8 billion people to expand their knowingness, their ability, and their ability to imagine, envision the future, and create a freaking awesome planet. I really believe that's possible, and it doesn't require all of us to agree on everything. It does not require us to have the government involved. It does not require one religion to win out and be superior to another, or a race to be reportedly superior to another. That is utter bullshit. I don't care where you were born, when you were born, or what your DNA is. You ain't superior to me. You're not superior to Love Cloud, Max Clausen, Big Chief Energy, Tavish Brahman, or anyone else on this planet. Merely, if you're doing the right thing, then you are doing the right thing. And if you're not doing the right thing, you're not doing the right thing. And you know whether you're doing the right thing or not. This is not complicated. Every one of you people know, hey, look, I'm earning enough money. I am doing everything I can for my family. Really? You are, huh? Well, then your family should be sorted out by now. I'm doing everything I can for the world. Okay. Well, you guys would be doing 100% of what you're supposed to be doing. I will tell you, I am failing to do everything I can do with the capabilities I have. I am absolutely failing because there is more. There is more for me, but I don't do it very well alone. Okay. Now, what am I doing? See, I'm using the system to trick myself because I know that if I alone say, okay, well, I'm going to write every day, write every day, write every day, I will do that for some period of time. I've done it for years and years at a time. But to be responsible to another group of people, 1,000 people, 1,200, 1,400 people in this room, to tell 1,400 people every week, every month, whatever, that I'm going to do this puts me into a obligation. Ooh, bad word, obligation. Obligate, responsible. I have to take responsibility. I think we're going to find that where we are discontent and uncomfortable and anxious, we're not taking enough responsibility. We're not taking enough responsibility. We need to take more responsibility. I need to take more responsibility. I need to have more in line obligations, in alignment obligations with myself. Um, and when I have 1,400 people, and this is very, very powerful here, what I'm getting ready to say, 1,470 people show up. One, you're knocking on the door going, hey, I admire what you're doing here. I'm going to come here and watch it. So one is like, wow, that's, people are digging this. Okay. One, they're digging it. Okay. Two, the feedback, the 99% of the feedback that people give me is so wonderful that could I not do this? How could I? You see, you guys have been hearing me for like the last, I don't know, 8 weeks talk about, this has been difficult for me to do. Hasn't been easy. It's probably the most difficult thing I do every week. I think about what I'm going to do, how I'm preparing, what the conversation is going to be. Um, and that alone shows me, wow, that's really weird that I would be. Look, I went and met some billionaires 2 days ago, 3 hours from here. I, I prepare less to meet these guys than I do for this show. Seriously. Um, I mean, when I say I'm talking about I prepare 10 times more for this show than I did for that meeting. Um, this is really important what I'm doing here, man. This is really important what you're doing here. We have 1,500 people on a Sunday morning in January 2025, all coming together to go to church. To go to church at some guy named Gary Cardone. Like, seriously, man. Okay. I don't believe there are 1,500 people in any church in the world right now. Can someone tell me if there is a mass or church or a community gathering on Sundays that has 1,500 people in it and they keep coming back? And see, this is staggering to me. This is telling me that humanity wants transparency. They want freedom. They want knowledge. They want to know, how do I create without becoming a parasite, without becoming a slave, without becoming something like you get on that treadmill and you lose yourself. You get on the treadmill competing with others. This is what I love about Bitcoin. Is that Bitcoin is a paradigm that doesn't make me compete with you. I have been competing with people my entire life, thinking that the game was a net zero sum game, that, in order for me to win, you probably have to lose a little bit. This this thing with Bitcoin that where everybody wins is really, really fascinating. I'm not trying to get into a financial discussion, but I am trying to get into the discussion on the paradigm of finite, which is really the world. Every religion I've ever been in was finite. Oh, we are the chosen ones. Everyone else is wrong. Wow, that's weird. I don't think everybody else is wrong. I don't want to be in a small club of people. I want everyone to be great. Wouldn't that be a better place to live? Everyone is on purpose. Everyone is. It's funny what I'm noticing some of the comments. It's funny what people get stuck on. Like the comment about the church. I don't know a church that has 10,000 people in it. Okay, I see some comments. I'm not talking about the total gathering of people that mark themselves as a Scientologist or a Catholic or a Baptist or an Episcopalian or a Jew. I'm talking about how many people show up in a room and spend an hour together. That's what I'm talking about, okay? There's 1,600 people in this room right now listening to me who knows very little, okay? Very little. I don't know anything. All I'm doing is sharing my own experience and trying to figure out almost in an open source, transparent way, hey, if this guy who's got a little modicum of success is willing to talk about going to church and becoming a better person and finding my meaning, because when I'm in my meaning, dude, there isn't anything that matters. I'm not looking for a girlfriend. I'm not looking for money. I'm not looking for another deal. I'm in my meaning, dude. I am in my purpose, and I am doing. I am bringing my special ability, art, capabilities to the group and saying, look, I can contribute this. I can contribute this. I think I can contribute this better than others, not to mean that we don't have, like we can't all play different roles, right? But you know, I've never met anybody that doesn't have specific, unique skills that are valuable to the planet, maybe valuable to one human being, and they don't follow them. They don't follow their gift. The gift. See, I think we all have a gift, man. At least I actually have 5 or 6 of them, which is going to bring me to where we're headed here in my realization. So the other comments, the other notes that I took from last week, 1229, being lost is one way to figure out how to get found. Okay, so if you're lost, understand that you should embrace the lostness. Okay, like suffer into it, get into it, and understand that your lostness, when I'm lost in dissonance, I am troubled. And the messaging to me, the discomfort is telling me, Joe, Gary, dude, bro, you're not on the right path. You're off the path. This is not the way. And every time I ignore the discomfort, the dissonance, I make huge mistakes. I had a phone call from a man in the UK from last week's Sunday session. Couldn't believe it. Did not realize I knew this man, but he reached out to me and emailed me and said, dude, I have this horrible story. You know, I'm in my 50s. My wife's left me. I've got 2 kids. I'm all by myself doing this. it was amazing that someone would just reach out and go, wow, thank you so much. You've helped me so much. And we started talking about, the first moment that he knew that he was making a mistake, that he had knowledge early on that this person was broken, really broken, and he ignored it. And I like, if I really look at every situation I'm in, I have bought the ticket, I drove my car to the facility, and I deserve everything I have gotten. Good and bad, I've deserved everything I've gotten. So also wrote down, never give up. Once you know your purpose, giving up's not even an option when you're purpose, because your dissonance is going to be so discomforting that never giving up is much easier than the internal unharmony. I don't know what the word is. Lack of symbiotic kind of relationship between myself and whatever else I'm doing. Right? Symbiotic. I need to be doing things that are symbiotic with GC here, not the other GC. What makes him happy and what makes me happy are two different things. We're different entities, different organisms, different purposes, different meaning, and a different experience, a different mindset, and a different ability to communicate that mindset. So where am I headed? Yeah. See, Tavish, never give up, dude. Check. Never give up. Check. Never give up. Check. The only people that ever fail in business are people that gave up. I mean, really, like literally, I literally believe you can't. Okay, guys, it's cool. If there's other churches out there that are bigger than this, okay, it's cool. It's 100,000 weekly attendees, whatever. I was just trying to make a point. There's 1,500, 1,900 people in this room right now. And it should be 19,000. I actually think it will be 19,000. I think if I keep doing these rooms, there'll be 20, 30,000 people in this room. And I must say, I'm probably quite committed to making that happen. Now, what would be helpful for me is like, for one thing, what I just said, it's just a total lie, okay? Unequivocally, and without any doubt whatsoever, I can most certainly build a church of 30,000 people. Every Sunday morning, 30,000 people be here. Do y'all believe that? Because if you believe that, we should start envisaging that is happening. And it's happening with the intention of purity, with the intention of helping, with the intention of driving education and knowledge, not in building money and oh wow, tax free, I can build. Like, building a church is probably a great business, but dude, seriously, okay, imagine, because I disagree, there are not 10,000 people in any church today. None. Zero churches with 10,000 people in them right now, all communing, all talking about one thing. And by the way, I'm going to also say that I don't think there's 8 churches or 8 religions on a Sunday morning that are talking about anything that people can actually activate. Like activate, like do. I walk out of so many churches going, what the fuck does that mean? Like, I was married to a woman once, and their family was extremely religious. And she and I ended up in tons of trouble, and the old man would come in, and lovely guy. The only problem with me and this cat was I never could understand a word he was saying. When he got into his, I'm going to say it, it's going to sound really rude, but mumbo jumbo, I was reminded, oh, wow, this is just like the guy at Goldman Sachs that has to use alpha, beta, delta hedging language when all he's got to do is say he's putting on an insurance policy. But he's got to use all these fancy words. So, like, telling me about Episcopalians 11.3 and reading the metaphor of the metaphor of the metaphor that Jesus gave us. Dude, I am in trouble. I don't need all the nomenclature. What I need is, and I literally looked at him one night, explain to me what the hell to do, man. Don't give me parables. It's, and then what do you, he's left with feeling superior, and I'm left with, I have no clue what this man just said. I literally just, dude, tell me what to do. Don't give me the bullshit. So I'm quite certain that this church that we're doing here, for no other reason than like I literally tested a thesis. I do think this could be a 30,000 man church, woman, man, human being church, no bots. That the world needs it very badly. And we all need it, man. Okay. Otherwise, people wouldn't be showing up in these rooms. We're not talking about money here. There's more people in these rooms on Church for Sunday than there are people in Bitcoin rooms and people in rooms talking about war and talking about visas. And I mean, the amount of upset right now online, people, you know, somebody said something earlier in the comments about tribalism is a problem. I disagree with that. Okay. We need more tribes, man. We need more clubs. Now, the kind of tribe I'm talking about is going to be a tribe that can actually cooperate and collaborate with other tribes. Look, guys. I've been seeing a lot of stuff on here about leadership and who's leading. Look, leadership leads. Period. If you're, you know, you'll know when you're a leader. I see these comments about everyone has to have their own job. Everyone should be an entrepreneur. I saw this young man that made this comment the other day that actually helped build this particular Sunday morning. And his my comment was, hey, don't think that the only way to become great is to be the man. I know a lot of people that have done extremely well being an employee. His comment was, yeah, you're in the legacy world of everyone needs to be a slave. Interesting. Well, that is very interesting. So his viewpoint is if you work for anyone, you're a slave. And my response was, wow, well, Michelangelo, one of the greatest artists ever, he was an apprentice, worked for an average marble worker. And I think for, I don't know, maybe 5 years, he literally swept up marble dust every day in exchange for soup, a shitty bed, a cold room for an average or below average artist. He would become one of the great artists of the world. And my question to the gentleman is, why was he a slave? Was he a prostitute, a total little bitch to the man? Because he worked for someone who allowed him to become an apprentice and understand the value of sweeping dust up when you're trying to create art. I have a huge problem with you guys that think you can be a leader when you've never been a follower. If you have never learned to follow, I most certainly have no interest in following you. I have seen this happen. You ask any military soldier who his greatest generals, colonels, sergeants have been. Every time. Don't bring me the politician that becomes a general. Give me a general who has actually been in the ground, had bullets flying over their head, in the muck, had their friends lose their life, had an arm blown off. Okay, somebody that actually knows what the fuck really goes on in war. I will serve under these people forever. But you make me serve under someone who is theoretical, read some books, and they're not actually taking the same amount of risk or had the same amount of experience. They have no clue what the grunt feels like. And therefore, you can't really motivate these people, okay? Because you don't even know what it feels like from their perspective of being the ant while you're moving pieces on the chessboard. No empathy for what's actually going on. So those that do, in my opinion, set a better example of leadership than those that talk and those that think and those that suggest or those that come up with problems and scenarios where you can't. Doing, action. Elon Musk, action man, dude. Action man. Doesn't study stuff, he does stuff. I'm a little bit off track here, but so let me get back on track. Because I suspect who wants to know what my realization has been this week that I found absolutely shocking. Anybody want to know? I went to Michael Saylor's party December the 31st. I'm not a big, I don't typically don't like going to those things, but I knew it was going to be the party of the year. So I drove up there, I went, had a good time, met some really cool people, and then came back, drove back here. I booked two hotel rooms, 2 nights of hotel rooms. The first night, I was like, okay, I'm going to stay here and then I'm leaving. And I couldn't, I'd already booked 2 nights. Couldn't get a refund, quite an expensive room. But I'm like, you know what? I don't want to be here anymore. I've already paid for the room, but who cares? I don't want to be here anymore. I want to get home. And as I'm driving home, it takes me about 4 or 5 hours to get home. And what am I driving home for? I'm driving home so I can go get in my art room and paint. Because I'm more interested in painting than I am in being in a hotel room, meeting some cool people, rich people, or whatever, talking business, right? So I come home and I am in the middle of painting. And then I ask myself, and this is a great question, okay? It's a weird question, and some people are going to be a little. Looks like we froze up here for a second. Let's see if we can square up here. But I asked myself this question. Hey, Gary, now keep in mind, okay, one thing I do want to talk about here. I spend a tremendous amount of time by myself. And I think that's been really, really good for me. Now, I can get quite emotional about it. As you can see, I will start tearing up. I don't know why I tear up over that, but I do spend a lot of time by myself. And I have to tell you that I like it that way. Before, I would not do this. I was very, very, wouldn't say I would say I was uncomfortable being by myself, but really by myself, like being comfortable with being by myself. Having said that, and by the way, I get into this bit of a judgment, criticism over spending time by myself. As I'm criticizing myself, this is what goes on in my brain, I suspect, or my mind. I suspect other people have this similar experience. The more time I've spent by myself, the more time, and I was literally like, hey, I'm actually not even. I I don't actually add any value to anyone right now. This is to me really important for me to acknowledge that there are times in my life when I could possibly be a liability to other people, and that I have no business in trying to like build a big social community if I myself have all this disconnection in my own being, right? So I need to take some time to get my shit together, get some clarity, and I find that one, I never get the type of spiritual awakening, clarity, or harmony when I'm with another human being or a lot of people. But when I'm alone, I have time to think and focus only on what's going on in my universe. See, all the noise, all the businesses, all the noise, the Bitcoin. Oh, let me go do another. If you guys have noticed, I'm doing less and less financial stuff on TV and on radio. Maybe nobody even noticed. It's cool. I don't know why you would notice, but in the last 3 or 4 weeks, I've done less. I feel less compelled to do it because one, I don't think it's that important. Two, the most certainly, I am not going to talk about Bitcoin price for the next 20 years of my life. Okay, I'm not a newscaster. I don't want to be an influencer. Uh, which brings me really to the dissonance. And I was sitting in the art room. Uh, I'd probably been there 4, 5, 6 hours, and I had just a beautiful evening, man. Like the art, don't like the art. Uh, Doing this has been absolutely staggering. The stuff I have learned about myself. Uh, Doing something that's really not in my wheelhouse, right? Like it's just not in my persona. You wouldn't see me as somebody that really gets off to doing this art stuff. And I don't mean to belabor it over and over and over. However, um, it's a heck of a lifetime. I mean, I've learned more about myself painting and playing, just doodling. I can't explain it. Than $1 million in psychoanalytical blah blah whatever I spent money on with whoever was telling me they had the solution to mankind, the power grid. They had the nuts, the secret chalice. There ain't no secret chalice. Okay, the only secret chalice is right here. I am the chalice. Come fully equipped, and just got to rearrange all the molecules. So I'm sitting here. You guys, hey, dude, you gonna get to the story, or I'm sitting there probably, I don't know, 1 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock at night. I'm like, I'm gonna die. I have 1 year to live. Let's just pretend you have 1 year to live. Tomorrow, I am told, Garrett, on February the 5th, January the 5th of 2026, you will die. It's done. It's going to happen. You're going to get hit with lightning. A bullet's going to smash in your face. You're going to have a car accident, whatever the reason is. You have 1 year. Now the question is, what am I going to do? Where am I going to spend my time? This was a freaking great question, okay? And I've asked myself this question before. Never had the profound And some of this is because I'm doing this manifestation that I'm doing. I'm telling you, like when we unwind all of this, we're going to go back. If I unwind it, first off, I'm doing something here that I think is going to be much more impactful and important than I actually know right now. I cannot tell you why I believe that, but I can tell you that I think I'm going to wake up one day and go, look, the truth is, I'm showing up here and I don't even really know why, other than I don't want to say it this way because it's going to sound really weird. I'm supposed to be doing this, dude. I don't know why I'm supposed to be doing this. Okay, maybe this is the faith that I have heard about in church. Now I could start breaking up over this, okay? Because I've never been this faith guy, like not really. I think, but I am doing this because I'm supposed to be doing it. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Okay, so let me just be really honest. Okay, the whole thing on God, Jesus, Allah. Uh, I'll just show my ignorance on most every religion. I don't get it. I don't get God. Never have understood God. Best thing I can understand about God is, this thing about, hey, dude, like you have a cup and you're trying to take in the entire ocean and stick it in the cup. Your little human mind can't even fathom. Nonetheless, I don't know what God is. Okay, I don't know what this whole. I don't know. I do know that I have great. What's the word? Not distrust. Maybe it is the right word, but suspicion. Let's just put it this way: I'm not convinced that organized religion is the solution, and all I have to do is look at the results. I don't see it. Okay, any organized religion. I've studied four of them, and all four massive gaps in them: abuse, distortion of reality, and most certainly, and this is my big hanger. It's the red herring. It's not the red herring. It's the red flag. Okay, it's the exclusivity, and it's the, hey, we're special. We're more special than other people. Fuck that. I'm done with that. I'm sorry for the language. Grok's gonna penalize me. Uh, it gave me a social score 65 out of 100. I'm the most positive guy I know. I'm very balanced in my sarcasm, but also I'm not going to pull punches. Okay, I am not going to pull punches. I don't care what Grok, Mock, or Jock says. Um, so I'm going to die in a year. And when I did that, because I've been sitting here going, look, I've got Bitcoin. I can keep accumulating Bitcoin. It's a really, really cool business opportunity for me, and I'll most certainly play a role in this industry. I've got people asking me to go do some work in the government. I've got probably once a week to 5 times a week, I've got people wanting me to invest in ideas and businesses. I've got my children who are just getting ready to go off to school, right, in college. One will just go build her life. That's a couple years from now, and I'm sitting around getting older and older and older, hopefully wiser and wiser. I'm most certainly engaged in the world, reclusive or not. And I'm gonna go back. That might be worth talking about one day. Okay, I actually think there's a tremendous value in being alone, guys. It is. I have never had spiritual enlightenment when I'm with someone else. I get distracted. I get distracted having someone else's energy in my space. I mean, I live in a fairly large place, but like having someone else's energy here, having it quiet, having no distractions, dude. You start to realize how much what do you really believe in? What do you really believe in, and are your actions following up with what you really believe in and who you really are? So the revelation is, I'm sitting there painting, and I realized if I was told I was going to die in a year, I would paint 6 hours a day, 4 to 6 hours a day. I would turn it into a full-time deal. I could not believe I was saying this. I'm literally going, well, look, call my lawyer up and say, hey, man, all this shit, make sure the kids don't fuck it up. That's a 1 hour phone call. Have the wills done, everything. Okay, go through some stuff, clean some stuff up, make sure, they're not having issues to deal with. Write some letter. Oh, that was the other thing. I said, hey, what would I do? I have 1 year. I said, I would write some really cool letters to my children, probably daily. Start creating a narration. I've never done that. See, that's a shame. My children are not going to know anything about me, really. They're going to know what their mom tells them, but they don't have any artifacts, really. They don't even know what I do for a living. Not that but I don't want them to think of me as a business guy. I don't care. Most certainly don't want them to do what I do. I want them to do what they want to do and what they're brought here for. By the way, I was just the vehicle to freaking create the mole. My job is not to design their career. My job is not to design your career. Your wife can't tell you what you should do. Your wife barely knows who you are. Let's be honest, man. Does your spouse really know who you are? Furthermore, can you really share with your spouse your insecurities? Your insecurities with her, your insecurities with other people, your insecurities in business, your laziness, your apathy, your anarchy inside of yourself. How do you discover all this insanity, all these moving pieces that you've collected? I've collected over 40, 50, 60 years without having some quiet time. Right now, in this quiet time, I literally I'm sitting here painting. I can't believe it, man. I'm literally going, wow, I have 1 year to live. I want to paint for 4 to 6 hours a day. Unbelievable, man. So guess what my gig is? I have increased. Now this is mandatory now, and I'm getting ready to share it with you, which means that I'm going firm on this. And nobody really cares about this, okay? This isn't really about Gary. I'm sharing something with you so that we can look in 2 years. Hopefully I'm still alive, but we can look in 2 years and go, hey, did that work for him? But when the answer, with great clarity, without any kind of distorted motivation or stress, when I ask myself, I'm going to die in a year, and how do I want to spend my time? And the answer is, I want to become a really great artist. I believe that on my exit, I can prove to planet Earth and myself that if I spend 10,000 hours doing something, I will become brilliant at it. And I will be known as a well-renowned, good artist, not as just an amateur, but like a real professional artist. I have never taken a course. I have never looked at the color wheel that everybody wants to shove in my face. I've watched some videos on people moving paint around and sculpting, and I'm always fascinated with their ability, but I refuse to read any books on it. And the reason I refuse to read it, because I'm testing something out, man. I think the more you do something, if I had a shovel and I use that shovel 30 minutes a day, every day, Do you think in a year that I would be able to do things with that shovel that other people couldn't do? I think so. I think I would turn it into an art farm. You ever seen people that are using the tractors, and they can fold a piece of paper with these big tractors. So again, like the art, don't like the art. Not the point. I have increased, and for those that don't know this story, this art stuff is very, very, very hard for me. It is the hardest thing outside of this that I do. But I've told the story about I have a studio about 150 feet from here, and until January the 1st, when I said if I were to die, if I knew I was going to die in a year, I'd paint 4 to 6 hours a day. Since I said that, walking into that paint room no longer is a problem. Weird. I've been doing this since 2020, 2018. I've been painting sporadically with my children since about 2018, I think. My wife at the time brought me down to the basement, or the kids and her went to the basement. She was probably angry with me. They went to the basement, started painting. I went down with them, and when they left, I kept going. Uh, and I was now it was horrible. I still have some of the paintings. It was horrible, okay? But I was fascinated with the way the colors moved around and played around and got dirty and muddy. And I just was very interested in how the paint collaborated with each other. I knew the first night that I played with paint, it was acrylic paint. I was like, I need to use oil paint. Now, I had no idea why I thought that. I had only my ex-wife, the ex, going, hey, you can't use oil. Oil is going to mess everything up in the house. And see, that's the other thing. Okay, imagine Gary has this inner goal to become this great artist. He doesn't even know about it. He's had it since he was 8, 6, 7 years old. He most certainly has been looking at art his whole life, really like a very tactilian human being, and I love beautiful things, intricate, complicated things, and so here I am, never thinking art's anything important whatsoever. Then I ask myself a question: what am I going to do with 1 year left to live? And it's, hey, I want to paint a lot. And it's not for any particular reason, by the way. Oh, I want to get rich. It's not to make money. I've never sold any of this stuff. One, it's wow, to me, that's fascinating, man. A guy had a career in energy and he ends up being an artist, and he's spending a lot of time alone. I mean, I can't just spend a lot of time alone and not do anything. I should be writing, reading, uh, meditating, contemplating, philosophizing. See, I think it's more important that I have. This is why really embracing AI. The only difference between you and I and other organisms, animals, at least that I know about, is that you and I can imagine, man. If we can imagine, why don't we imagine more? Articulate the imagination. And now we're farming up and creating a vision for the world that's different than we've ever envisaged. We have only envisaged finite, zero sum game. You lose, I win. I lose, you win. In order for us to negotiate, one of us has to give. In order for one of us to have a good relationship, we have to compromise. I'm not compromising anymore in my life. I'm not compromising my time or my energy or my heart. My heart is going to stop beating one day. Why the hell am I compromising with anyone on anything, in particular on really, really important things? So why is it that I ask myself on January the 1st, hey, 1 year, what are you going to do? I'm going to spend more time painting. And then explain to me why it's no longer difficult for me to go in that room. Like, I can't wait to get off this, and I'm going to make myself a turkey sandwich, and I'm going to blow in there, and I'll be in there for 2 to 3 hours. I have never painted in the morning, ever. I've never painted during the day. I have literally justified all my art at night. And I've been lazy with it. I've been like, I don't paint during the day, dude. I don't paint in the morning. I'm not motivated. Ever since I said I would paint 2 to 4 hours a day for the rest of my life for that year, one, I don't have a problem going in the room. Two, I'm painting in the morning. I'm painting in the afternoon. I'm painting at night. And I don't think I'm a different being when I'm doing it. That's weird to me. Okay. So I am going to become a great painter. Like I think I can actually do this. And my only hesitation on it is, why do I need to be a great painter? Well, I most certainly wouldn't want to waste 4 hours, 2 hours a day for 365 days and then be a crappy painter. If I paint only one painting that's brilliant, I mean, look, 1 out of 50 of these paintings I really dig. I mean, these guys in the back, these happy jappies, I love these guys, dude. I love these cats. I didn't mean to. I'm getting ready to change the painting behind me, but I've probably done 10 or 15 of these, 10 or 12 of these big faces, and I absolutely love them. They make me smile every time I see somebody that looks at them. They smile, and I got to tell you, I have no idea why I'm painting. I've been painting orbs for 5 years. Have no idea why do I keep painting orbs. I never saw them as orbs. I saw them as circles. Why do I keep painting circles over and over and over again? I cannot tell you why, dude. I can't. But over and over and over and over again, circles, 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 circles. I mean, look, just, circles everywhere for years. Right? I mean, for years, just circles, 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 and faces. And then there were faces. I'm like, wow, I can't even get away from the circles. I end up with these faces, and these are characters. These are all the human beings I've met. All these, they're the funny guys and the, stuck up guys and the mean guys and the accounting guys. And what am I really saying here, guys? I'm saying that I am really challenging myself. I'm challenging who I am, and I've taken the time to be alone. Like, I literally have very little interest in dating. If I really wanted to date, I would be dating. But the reason I actually think I would be a liability to another human being right now. Does that make sense? And maybe I'm not a liability to the other human being, but I think introducing confusion and other energy right now would be a massive mistake for me. Massive mistake for me. Like, I've really embraced, hey, actually, I've never taken enough time with Gary. I have always been either in a relationship with some girl that it was just convenient, and I've never arranged any of these relationships the way I arrange business, ever. Shame, shame, shame on me. And I apologize to all 3 women that I did that to. I am so sorry to Janice, to Annie, and to Monica that I didn't like, hey man, gotta map this out just like I do on any business deal. I would have known within 12 seconds, within 3 paragraphs. Hey, this isn't the right thing. And I like all you women are, you know, for the most part, awesome. Um, Last one was, a little challenging, but shame on me, man. Shame on me for settling. Shame on me for not mapping out, not treating it like it was the greatest joint venture I was doing in the history of mankind. Uh, Marriages have a 46% fail rate. I mean, I think it's more like 75 when you actually talk to people over 10 years about how happy they are. Um, Now, entrepreneurship has a fail rate of about 98%. 3,147 people in this room. I think people are digging church. Okay, I think this is one of the biggest churches in the world today on a Sunday. And I'm not like bragging, hey, it's Gary's church day. This is our church. But the point I'm trying to make is, hey, man, we got 3,000 people in here, dude. That's cool. Does everybody agree that's freaking cool? So one thing you should be doing is, hey, how do we get this to 5,000 people? I'm not charging anything for it. So it should be like, this should grow now. You can tell me if you want more, if you want less, what the format might or should be. Cool. Look, my commitment is 1,000 people show up in these rooms, only 1,000, and I will be here every Sunday. I don't care if the same old people over and over and over and over and over and over again. 1,000 people doing 1,000 good works every day. 1,000 people asking questions like, hey, I have 1 year to live. What the hell am I going to do? What the hell am I going to do with my time? We spend an hour, hour and a half in here. This jacks me up, dude. I'm a better human being. Most important thing I'm doing right now, guys. I've collected hundreds and hundreds. I've made tens. I've made a shitload of money. I don't care about any of that stuff. I don't really. What I'm doing here is the only thing I'm interested in. Actually, like it is the thing I should be remembered for. That I helped another human being. You know why? Because I am capable of doing it. Yeah, I have excellent communication skills. Okay, like I have very, very good communication skills. In particular, when there is no agenda but goodness. Like by goodness, I just mean, hey, look, I'm just sharing my shit. Like I like, and when I say the word shit, I really mean I'm sharing a journey. I've read so many books, and I read book like Think and Grow Rich by Dale Carnegie, or my favorite book in the world, The Greatest Salesman in the World by Og Mandino. Read anything by Zig Ziglar. Okay, genius, dude, like brilliant man. And there'll be many others. Okay, now the problem is I don't know what these people actually do in their own life. I've seen a lot of gurus. I have no interest in being a guru or an influencer, okay, or a talking head or a newscaster. But what I don't know is, hey, what's your life really like? I have seen and heard and watched a number of these people implode and their students implode on them. I don't know if Zig Ziglar did what his teachings said to do. All I know is that I am off and on. I'm sporadic. I'm disciplined sometimes. I'm not as disciplined at other times. My life is a journey, dude, and I'm strong in some of those journeys, and I'm less strong in other journeys. I'm confused most of the time as a human being, and I spend time doing things, and I'm like, why am I spending time? Why am I spending time on this? Like you should write down how many things you do every day that add zero value to anything. I think it would be really painful. Okay, maybe that's a good thing to do. Hey, why don't you write down where you're wasting your time? Write down where you're wasting your time. I'm seeing a lot of comments. See, honesty in this deal is really, 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 really important. There is no kind of like half honesty on this trade. It's your life, man. It's my life. I'm telling you, I have spent a chunk of my life doing nothing to make it better. Seriously, like doing drugs, being with some girl that you know is not going anywhere. Uh, just having jobs that were like, oh my God, I hate this job. And then taking the job and working for like 30 grand a year. I've never done that, by the way. I've never done that. Okay, like if you're going to be a prostitute, make sure you're a high paid prostitute. The clients are better, the action's better, the retirement plan's better. But if you're going to be a whore, dude, just add zeros, be the best that you can be. But I refuse. Like, hold me accountable till the day I am in my grave. Okay, I am not a prostitute for no amount of money, no amount of discontent or dissonance. Okay. I want to be known as a man. I want to know myself as a man. I want to be able to look in the mirror and go, dude, you're honorable. You'll stand up when is necessary, and you'll shut up and follow when is necessary. But that requires a tremendous amount of self knowledge and honesty. If you guys want to get some help with how to do that, The Art of War is an awesome, awesome book. I have it here somewhere. The Art of War. And the piece that most people forget about is, most people will tell you, know thy enemy. It does say that, but it says it after know thyself first. Now, how can you know the enemy if you don't know yourself? Okay, I want to know all the strengths and weaknesses I have, and then I observe the enemy and I get to evaluate and determine all his strengths and weaknesses. You guys do know that, like, I have no script here. So if I bounce around, somebody said once, hey, it'd be kind of cool if you stayed a little bit more on track. And I totally get it. But that's my way of asking you to forgive me for like bouncing around if you're having a hard time following some of the conversation. Um, I think doing this doing this unscripted and live, almost as if I'm sitting on a couch with 3,000 counselors. First off, does anyone find this to be any sign of weakness on my part? Because when I first walk in here, or ever think about sharing honestly with another human being about my humanness, first thing is like, no, don't do that, dude. Nah, do not do that. I got a bunch of buddies that are monsters, right? And their deal is never show weakness. Dude, I don't know. I'm not sure. Okay. Uh, First off, I am not weak, but I am human. and I am flawed, and I'm confused a lot of the time. I mean, by confusion, I mean, I don't know. There's just so many question marks. If you guys, if um, well, I was going to tell you something about my art that I don't. I have a lot of little codings in my art that most people don't pick up. Um, but for years now, I've been. There's a couple of symbols that I find very, very powerful symbols. One is the infinity sign, which I have been fascinated with since I can't tell you how long. I most certainly think I am an infinite entity. I am soul. I am me. I am the soul. I am everything. And all of this stuff that seems to be falling apart by the moment. Well, see, there's a postulate, right? Oh, my body's falling apart. I need to change that. Um, I need to attract massive efficiencies into my body. I know enough people that I should be able to extend my life 20 or 30 years. Um, where am I headed with this? Um, the question was, does anyone find me to be a weak human being? Because, and it's a rhetorical question, but when I came into these spaces, when I show up, come out of the closet, who out there is in the closet? This is a question for you guys this week. There's 3,500 people in here. I want you to post in here on X or YouTube or whatever. What are you still in the closet? And if the answer is yes, which by the way, I think 100% of you are in the closet. And now the question is, what are you in the closet? What are you hiding about you from the world? You know, for first 20 years of my career, there was one thing said about me in common over and over and over and over again. Whoa, he's aggressive. Also, for 20 some odd years, if I start negotiating with someone, they immediately go, "Hey man, don't rip my head off." And I've always been stunned by that comment. I'm like, "Hey, what do you mean?" "Well, I'm really nervous negotiating with you because you're a professional. You negotiate like that is your superpower." I can honestly say there have been very, very few deals that I've done in my life. There's a couple that I do remember saying, "Hey man, I might be taking advantage of these guys a little bit." Um, but I can honestly say that I do not believe if you're negotiating with me in good faith and you're not bringing a bunch of wacky stuff to the table, negotiating with me is extremely easy. Like, I do not believe in bending someone over. I'm going to have to renegotiate that with you if I bend you over too badly, first off. So, just for self preservation, doing a one sided deal makes no sense. Two, everybody has to win long term in the deal or it will come unwound. Three, I assume every negotiation I do, I'm constantly looking at, will that allow me to retrade the deal in 3 years? Because I don't think any deals last more than 3 years anymore. I think beyond 2 or 3 years, you have to be open that everything is going to change so drastically that what you want is a partner to call you up and go, "Hey, man, you know that shit we put together 3 years ago, it was awesome at the time. But within 8 months, Gary, a deal started like having problems. I'm not making as much money. could we sit down over lunch and like look at a retrade and see how we can make this work, make it longer, make it better? If I make that phone call, am I going to be considered weak by my counterparty, or are they going to be like, wow, this cat actually wants to communicate and have a long-term partnership? See, for me, I like the long-term partnership, but we have to communicate about what our wants and needs are and what our capabilities are to provide for those wants and needs. And when you have 30 years of negotiating bullshit, I mean, the amount of money that's been sold to people to negotiate and, lean them over and bend them over and do the procurement process and get beat, and then you beat up your vendors. This is most certainly, in my opinion, a world of collaboration going forward. And like, you're going to have to, these are not transactions, they are people. And people decide who they want to do business with, and people don't always understand the problems they're trying to solve. And most certainly, people don't like confronting what happens when change occurs. And are you able to go back to your partners and do a win-win? I mean, win-win. Everybody talks about win-win, but we never really get there, right? Win-win. You can win, I can win. I most certainly believe that. Now, if you have a finite mindset and you think that anything that I make is something that I'm taking from you, you and I are going to be, you're my enemy, man, because you have decided to go it alone. And I'm looking to collaborate. So that all comes from, I've always been very surprised that people think I'm this really, really tough negotiator. Having said that, when 20, 30 people all say the same thing, I must be giving off a vibe, right? I must be giving off a vibe. And the weird thing is I'm not like that at all. Like, I was with a guy Saturday. I hope he's not listening. What's today's Sunday. I was with a guy Friday. 4 or 5 minutes into the conversation, he and I both looked at each other. Hey, let's do a deal. Don't have any of the numbers worked out. Don't care about the numbers right now. He and I could literally have done a deal right then and there. He made a comment. He said, dude, I can do deals in 180 minutes, no problem. Complex deals. I really believe that. Like, you meet another guy like that, you want to get close to him and go, hey, let's build something together. Okay. You have strengths, I have strengths. You have weaknesses, I have weaknesses. Let's combine and do this in a way that's really, really gets us off dead center and get scale. Scale. You can go it alone if you want, but I don't think this is a world where we're going to be going alone, dude. This is a collaborative world. A collaborative world. Now, I've been all over the place, haven't I? See, I go from, oh, wow, I'm doing business. Now, keep in mind, okay, this guy, this will end up being a multi-billion-dollar deal. This is what's going to happen. I guarantee you, this is what's getting ready to happen. The moment I made the decision that I was going to paint at least 2 more hours a day, okay, like, I have to now, in my opinion, get 3.5 to 4 hours a day every day. That's 21 hours a week, minimally, painting. That's going to be about triple what I've been doing, because I've been doing it really whenever I want. Now I'm doing it on, you're going to get disciplined, son, like it's a business. This is what will happen. The moment I made that decision, the rest of my life is getting ready to just absolutely open up to massive opportunities. And this is what I'll predict. I'll predict that the Node 40 business in 90 days will have a massive investor in it. that will ramp and want a lot more of my time. That everything I'm doing in the digital asset industry, I think I'm going to see 1,000 great deals. I'm probably going to meet some woman through stuff that I'm doing here. Uh, I actually believe I am going to meet my life partner that I've been probably wasn't supposed to find, um, or just get distracted again. And why? Because I have made a decision about the art that is primary and senior to everything else. See, when I ask myself the question, hey, look, if I knew I was going to die in a year or 5 years, like I can do this over, doesn't have to be a year, 5 years. Let's see now. I want to do a little business. I want to become a billionaire. That wasn't the answer, dude. The answer was, hey, I want to paint. I think painting is going to be important for the world. The painting is going to be important for me. I bet not any painter, maybe Andy Warhol, but most painters, I don't think start painting thinking I'm going to make a living doing this, or this is the reason I'm doing it. They're doing it because they enjoy doing it. Just like somebody writes down, a philosopher might write down his views on the world. He's just sharing his views. And if I get back to the imagination and the ability to envisage, to imagine a future is the only thing that's different between you, me, and animals. A dolphin, a bear, a dog, a cat. I should imagine a lot more than I do. I should begin taking time to vision the future, to like build this imagination muscle more and more and more. And none of us use this enough. So I want you to get your book, man. I want you to get your book out. And remember, the right thing to do for you is the right thing to do. The right thing to do for you is the right thing to do. First, you got to learn yourself. You have to learn about who you are. Know thyself. If you're in a job pushing boxes around and you are a philosophical dreamer, writer, spend more time doing that. Doesn't mean you're going to drop your job, okay? But like you can spend time where you are richest, where you're endowed. Okay, if you don't know where you're endowed, figure it out, man. Okay, you do an inventory on yourself. What are my skills? What are my liabilities? What are my assets? What do I hate doing? We like, I think it's a book, and I could get world renowned known just by doing this one thing. I'll run a course on you or write a book on figure out what you're never going to do in your life, in your career. You guys should all determine what you are not going to be. I am not going to be a policeman. I am not going to be a drug dealer. I am not going to be a drug addict. I am not going to be a doctor. I am not going to be a pharmaceutical salesman. I am not going to do anything that's evil. You just go through the damn list of shit you're not going to do. It literally removes 90% of the confusion on planet Earth. Okay, because unlike a dog, you have many more options. My dog, man, they have limited number of, they're awesome, but they have a limited number of options. See, the right thing is the right thing. I cannot deny, being a twin, I think I might suffer some psychosis that other people don't suffer. But when I say that the thing about the art, I immediately go, wow, if my brother said that, dude, I think he's stupid. would think he was completely wacko. Grant doesn't know anything about art, dude. I mean, he knows good art when he sees it. His art, the stuff he picks out, I love most of it. But if Grant Cardone said to me, I'm gonna start painting and 3 hours a week day, and I would think the guy was absolutely smacked out of his brain. And I think I'd probably be right about that because I probably know my brother pretty well. Um, I think I'm crazy. Like half the time, I'm like, I'm looking at this painting right here going, there's so much wrong with this painting. Uh, I'm probably not going to change it much more. The other thing is, I'm kind of getting comfortable with the fucking mistakes. They're the unique part of it. I mean, like these eyelashes aren't perfect. Who cares, dude? The face isn't perfect. My face isn't perfect. Your face isn't perfect. I have this little gap in my teeth that drive me crazy. Makes it look like I'm a country buffoon. I'm not going to go to the dentist and, hey, man, give me some white caps and fix it all. That's just pure ego, okay? Zero interest in doing all that stuff. This is the trap I don't want to get into. So look, I've been going an hour and 36 minutes and 22 seconds, 3,816 people in the room. I really cannot thank you enough for showing up to these ad hoc Gary riffs. My intention is to really help one or two people, man. If I could help 14,000 or 100,000, that would be so awesome. I wanted to share the win I had from the 8 sessions. I've literally spent 12 hours on this, and I have learned so much about myself from doing this. It's really, really crazy. And it's helped me kind of clarify what I should be doing with my life right now. And part of that is, oh, by the way, doing this was also in that component. Okay, like if I was going to die in a year, I would most certainly continue to do this every week. And I do commit to doing this every week. If you guys digging it, if you're learning something from it, and we continue to expand, would like us to expand. And the reason we're doing people a disservice look, there are so few options on this planet that are free of any kind of a hook. I'm not suggesting I'm right. I'm suggesting I am right this very moment in time for how I see myself and my life and the world around me. But dude, that could flip tomorrow morning. Okay. If we get more data, my data changes. So if you're getting something out of this, I would ask you guys to invite your family members. Okay. Like I think this is not, I was talking to somebody that's going to be very, very, very senior in the administration next year in 2025. And I said, in my opinion, most all of our problems get solved with very clear communication, very honest and transparent communication. I believe this is the DECA era, the next 20 to 30 years. This next cycle is going to be about transparency, very open, honest communication, only relevant to its transparency. Open source, everything is going to win. Governments, companies, and individuals who open source will win. The authenticity will be the premier value add that anyone can bring. There's so little authenticity on this planet. my hope is that I'm coming here as authentic as possible. Um, and it's freaking you out because you're like, hey, this cat's successful. He's made some money. He doesn't need to do this, but he's doing it. Why am I doing it? I'm doing it because I think it will help other people, because I know I've always had this inner conflict. I think Mark Cuban has it. I think Elon Musk has it. Donald Trump has it. Every one of us leaders has it. And it's when you become evil or egotistical and you start to act like you don't have any inferiorities or weaknesses, and other people then see your success and go, oh, wow, I'm not built like that. Dude, I'm as feeble-minded and weak and undisciplined as anyone here. I've made so many freaking mistakes. You couldn't believe it. But communicating about the mistakes and being in touch with my dissonance, okay? Like, I see everyone taking a drug to get comfortable. Then maybe you ought to do is sit in the discomfort. I'm not perfect at it. Okay, there are times when I just, dude, it's too much. I want to escape. That's why I need a team around me. See, I don't even really need a team. I need a group of people like you guys that have witnessed trying to get to 4,000. I'll spend a little more time, 1 minute, 41 seconds. But I love you guys holding me accountable. But don't hold me accountable with criticism. Hold me accountable with admiration. You have never seen a human being respond better to admiration than Gary Thomas Carter. I can be bought for a song and a dance if you're sweet to me, dude. If you are admiring and respectful of my ability, I'm in a business. I have an activity, and I'm always surprised at the founders that they don't. I go out of my way to go, hey, look at these cats, dude. They're awesome. It's amazing to me that I don't see more and more people call me up and go, dude, you really helped me a lot. Your honesty, I didn't like the way you said what you said, but I needed to hear that, right? Or, you being vulnerable, Gary, shows me I can push through this shit. Anyway, be complimentary to people, man. Okay, if you have a boss and you think you're a slave, you go find another job. Okay, the only slave, he doesn't want you to be a slave, not really. And if he does want you to be a slave, you don't want to work there because it's not going to survive. If you see yourself as a slave, I would ask yourself, if Michelangelo would have seen himself as a slave while he was making a bowl of soup and a shitty cot in a cold, damp room in Italy, he an employee that was being given an opportunity to master, to learn what his passion was, and then two, to learn the real the minor, you cannot create art if there's dust everywhere. Him learning the fundamentals, the baseline fundamentals, he being a soldier sweeping up the dust for other artists. Why would you think that's slavery? Why would you think if you went to work for McDonald's for a summer, that was slavery? They're just giving you a job that you're competent for, maybe. Now, if you don't like slinging McDonald's, since you've never done anything before, go sling a shovel. You're not getting a job with me. Why would you get a job with me? You haven't done anything. It drives me crazy, man. I'll hire somebody to work here, and they know, within 2 or 3 weeks what my power is. My real power is not details. And then I see people like they'll walk around, hey man, can I get you a cup of coffee? Don't ask that. They're not as busy as me. There's trash. It doesn't hurt to go out of your way, man. It doesn't hurt to do stuff that's not in the resume. Okay? Like be a team member, man. Hey Gary, your car looks filthy, dude. Can I get it washed for you? Hey Gary, I know this guy that takes care of the dog. Okay. Be a problem solver, man. Be a problem solver. You do not have to have skills to be a problem solver. You probably had to be a good kid with good parents who held you accountable for cleaning up your shit. But if you haven't cleaned up your own bedroom, why would you even think to clean up my mess? Right? So this is just me yakking. And by me yakking, without a script, it shows if this is the target, perfection, by me being vocal and pontificating on this crazy thing we call life, I know where I am. Like if this is the target, man, I know, oh yeah, I'm not really there. I'm right over here. The more I say this, the more accountable I'll be. Okay. There's just not possible for me to be super fake. If I am a super fake, then I will end up in a grave, probably with a bullet wound in my head that I gave myself, some suicide, some bizarre story because I was a fraud and a fake. And I think there are people who write books, dictate, motivate, do shows, use engagement farming, have the wrong motivation, and they end up broke. Broke, dude, broke, hurt, bitter, upset, and great dissonance because they never confronted who they really are. And the confrontation of who you really are will come from the discomfort. That's what I'm trying to say. It will come from your fear, your dissonance, your discomfort, your thinking it should be one way, but in reality, when you ask that special question, it is the questions that are important, guys, not the answers. It is the question that is important. We're all looking for the wrong thing. You're looking for answers, dude. You need to find the right question. For me, the right question was, I have 1 year to live. How am I going to spend my time? I wrote down 3 things. 1, make sure my kids are sorted. 2, write letters to my children for the next year. Make sure they have a story about who I am, kind of their view of the world, how it got kind of tweaked, and leave them with a journal. Like if they want to, leave them with some history. When they're 35 years old, they can look back. They're not going to read it now. 35, they look back and go, wow, that cat, he was thinking about what we were going to be thinking about. Because at 35 years old, my children will be in dissonance, okay? They're going to look at their mom and go, I'm supposed to work like that. Then they're going to look at their dad, oh, I'm supposed to work like that. Then they're going to go, well, they were fucked up. Their marriage was fucking crazy. I don't want any of that. Listen, that's wrong message. That's the wrong message for them to assume that business destroyed our marriage. We should have never gotten married in the first place. That's not the reason. It was one of the reasons. But I know my 35-year-old, I know my 30-year-old, they're both going to wake up one day and go, whoa, who are we? And they're going to try to answer all these questions relative to where they came from. And none of that's true. Okay. They came through me just like that painting, like this painting right behind me. Okay. I love that painting. I probably would not sell that painting. for any number. And what I like the colors in it. I like the mixture of colors. Um, Now, why did I just say that? Right? I did not participate. I did not like envisage that it was going to look like that from day one. I have to be open, man. I have to be open, and it's the dissonance. This is the point I'm trying to make. And I've been in this dissonance for 4 years. Okay, 4 years. I've been like, well, man, I'm really struggling here. Once I had the right question, which was, I have 1 year to live. What am I going to do? Where am I going to spend my time? Is it going to be working with Donald Trump? Is it going to be working with Vivek? Is it going to be building some more businesses? None of those were the answer. None of that was the answer. The answer was, I need to paint more, man. Can't take that back. Can't take it back from you because I just announced it to 4,500 people, 4,185 people. Hey, guys, seriously, okay? The church, for me, this has been unbelievable for me. Okay. I have probably, as I said to you 6 weeks ago, I will get more out of this than everyone else. And I'm very grateful that 440 or 4,000 people would show up and listen to my wacky, crazy guy ass. Would love to run through and acknowledge some of the people in the room. Love Cloud, Craig, Max Swanson, Michael Holding. Thank you guys for being here. Love Cloud. Michael Holding. We got PJ Cow, Anthony, Jennifer Selden. Thank you for being here. Am I a student of Stoicism? Don't think so. I don't think I'm stoic. I do think that people might talk a little bit too much about their emotions. I think emotions are grossly overrated. And they're can be more dysfunctional than they can be functional or productive. We got Brad Richard. Hey, Brad, good to have you here. You have found God in your alone time. I can say that I don't know that I can say that I found God, but I am most certainly defining what it is not. Taylor Vincent, thank you. Sats 256X, Aries 777. Are those your paintings in the back? They are. Crypto Savant Yowzer. I don't know if Yowzer, I don't know if my kids watch the videos, but they do know what I do at 10. They just came over here a little while ago to grab something. Hey, we wanted to come here before your 10:30. Tavish Brahman says, I've been alone for 2 years of isolation. It's brought me so much value. He said, Gary, your kids can watch these videos. Yeah. You know what? Wow, I didn't even think about them watching these. That was a beautiful statement about their career and them being them, Gary. Oh, yeah. Hey, listen, I don't get why parents want their kids to turn out to be themselves. Like naming your child after you? Woo, that's weird. That I've never figured out. Dude, it's hard enough being a twin, much less have John Smith the 14th. Oh, I say, dear boy, yes, my great grandfather. He has left me with the duty of the Smith family, and we must proceed through our livingness and be miserable forever. But we will do the duty of the family of the Smith. For I am John Smith the 18th. Oh, that would be crazy. Michael Holding says, no, you would paint more memories with the kids real time. Write letters and don't know how old your kids are, but post date those letters when you write them. Yeah, okay, cool, man. Love Cloud says exact communications these days is really fake most of the time. So many are wearing masks, even with their spouse. It's really distorted. I am pretty convinced if I've never taken any time alone to study myself, I probably have no business being in a relationship with anyone. I think that explains why so many relationships uh, just don't carry the test of time. Um, a few more comments. Aries 777. Thanks again for being here. Sarah Parker's in the room. Brad Richard, thanks again for being here. Anthony's here. John Reynolds, Big Chief Energy, dude. You're always here. You're always very sweet to me. Maxwell Swanson's in the room. He's here a lot. Lori Del Reno, she's here. Good to have you guys. Thank you so much. Look, guys, I wanted to. Carolyn Sweeney's in the room. Choo Choo 2023. Josh Bryant. Josh, dude, you're awesome, bro. Josh Bryant is such a generous human being. You guys follow that cat. He's a nice man. Um, Big Chief Energy says, thank you, Gary. Big Chief, peace, bro. Thank you for being here. Guys, I'm going to wrap up. Sorry I took so long. I was probably, well, let me know what time frame do you guys like? I can most certainly do 90 minutes is not a challenge for me. I could probably do 2 hours without getting whacked out or diluting. But where do you guys find the sweet spot? I don't want to dilute the message here. Um, Pongo. I'm going to close with this one. The light will take down the darkness, okay? Where there is darkness in my life, I need to confront the darkness, man. Okay, I need to embrace it and acknowledge it. Most people don't want to talk about it. Now, what am I doing? I am screwing with the matrix, guys. I'm hacking the matrix. I'm coming out of the closet. I'm telling you, I'm not as perfect and cosmetically designed and smooth as all the presentations you see. I am most certainly not engagement farming. If you ever see me doing engagement farming, please correct me. But I got to believe that if one guy starts this and starts leading and being honest, that other people will do this. And over time, maybe we get some leaders in here that are legit. And they're not making you think, oh, look at me, I'm an Instagram perfect. And then you go out in the world, try to do this, and you realize, oh, wow, I'm not as good at it as him. I don't look as good. Or, well, shit, yeah, because you're not using the same bullshit. Um, and again, I apologize for my bad words. Um, we can win together, okay? We can win together if we're honest. I can't win by myself, man. It would be such a go watch the Twilight Zone series that's about the guy who was the last guy on the planet. He died with some books and there was nobody there. It's not a good story, man. It's not a good story. As much as I may not like human beings sometimes, it's a hell of a lot better being together with people who've also been on this kind of journey. Like, I hope you guys aren't hearing me be a whiner because I'm not whining. I'm not trying to whine, okay? What I'm trying to do is say, well, I'm just a human being. And no matter how much money I have in the world or how many businesses I've built that have been successful, it just says I have one skill here that I'm pretty good at. It doesn't mean that I'm great at everything or that I'm even great, period, much less that I'm a nice or a good human being. Anyway, it's enough for me. Thank you very much for being here. One thing you have to do, okay, send me a note what you'd like to talk about next week. 2, you got to go do something nice for somebody today, okay? You don't have to know them. You can know them, but you cannot take credit for this. By the way, if you owe somebody, if you're in amends to someone. It does not count. You need to clean up your past, okay? If you have a bunch of mistakes you made from the past, start calling people up, write it down in an inventory. Hey, I stole $1,800 from my mother when I was 16. I never told her. You owe her the damn money back, okay? Call her tonight. Say, hey, I ripped you off. I was a little sniggler. I will pay you back and pay her back in interest. Boom, liability gone. All of a sudden, your relationship with your mom's going to be magic. You cannot let her not take the money. That's not cool. Okay, you owe her the damn money. Okay, so if you clean up your damn past in the interim while you're writing down your list of things you did that you were naughty that you never cleaned up, think about what you can do right now to go help one other human being. I don't care if it's comfortable for you. You know what? Leadership happens when you lead, not when you complain about it's not comfortable to lead. It's doing it when it's not easy. If 4,455 people did something nice for somebody today, dude, we have a movement, okay? We have a revolution, and we have a chance of actually getting out of this without killing ourselves. I want to say thank you. I love you. Be good and know that you can do a lot more than you think you can do. Okay. I really believe that. I am only limited to my imagination, and and the fuel to that imagination is your admiration, your kindness, and your generosity. And your, hey, dude, like you set a good example. You start telling me I set a good example and that it's changed your life, dude, I will set a better example, because that is my fertilizer. That's the fuel. So you guys go be great, do great, and realize the right thing to do is the right thing. Like, you can't make it up. You can't modify it. You can't manipulate it. The right thing for you is the right thing for you. Peace, man. Y'all be great.